Mike and Emma, a young couple, are hosting a dinner party at their Los Angeles home. Their closest friends, Lee and Sophie, arrive on time, surrounded by the warm glow of streetlights filtering through the windows. The evening air is filled with the sweet scent of blooming flowers as they settle into the cozy living room. The conversation starts off light and playful, but soon turns to more serious topics. Mike brings up a sensitive subject, Lee's relationship with his ex-girlfriend, sparking a heated argument between the two men. The TV flickers back to life, showing a breaking news report about a mysterious comet hurtling through the sky. The friends glance at each other with a mix of curiosity and concern as the newscaster speaks rapidly about celestial events. Suddenly, a blinding flash of light illuminates the room, making it impossible to look directly at the TV screen. The friends shield their eyes, momentarily blinded by an otherworldly radiance that seems to seep into the very fabric of reality. The news report continues, but with a strange, time-stretched quality. Frames seem to distort and repeat, like a record stuck on a loop. The friends exchange uneasy glances, sensing that something is amiss. The rules of reality have been subtly tweaked. The room begins to feel off-kilter and surreal. The friends look around, unsure what's happening or how to react. Emma tries to reassure them that it's just a side effect of the comet, but her words seem hollow in this disorienting atmosphere. Paranoia sets in as they start to suspect that something is terribly wrong. Lee's eyes narrow, fixing on Sophie, while Mike becomes agitated, his gaze darting wildly around the room. The dinner party is in full swing, a blur of wine and lively conversation. When the lights flicker and die, the entire house plunges into an inky blackness, punctuated only by the distant hum of a refrigerator struggling on a backup circuit. Everyone freezes, a collective gasp swallowed by the sudden silence. Kevin fumbles for his phone, its screen a welcome beacon in the dark, illuminating their startled faces. Hugh, ever the pragmatist, suggests checking the breaker, but the power seems to be out everywhere. They peer through the windows, seeing only a vast, starless void where the neighborhood lights should be. A palpable unease settles over the group, a subtle shift from jovial banter to an unspoken apprehension. M, feeling a prickle of anxiety, remembers an old wives' tale about comets bringing bad luck. They laugh it off, but the sound is a little forced, the darkness pressing in around them. When the power returns, it's fleeting, flickering back on and off like a faulty bulb. Hugh and Amir decide to investigate outside, venturing into the unusual darkness. They return, looking pale and shaken, carrying a small, old wooden box. Inside, they explain there's a ping-pong paddle, a stack of numbered photos, and a note. The photos show each of them mid-party just moments ago. The note warns, in shaky handwriting, that tonight, there will be a wormhole, and that they should stay inside. A chill runs through M. How could these photos exist? Who took them? The implications are unsettling, sparking a flurry of theories and nervous jokes that don't quite land. The air grows thick with a nascent fear, the comfortable familiarity of the evening rapidly eroding under the weight of this strange discovery. They pass the box around, each person scrutinizing its contents, their expressions a mix of disbelief and dawning apprehension. Amir, ever the curious one, points out a house down the street where a single light still burns. It's the only one in the entire neighborhood. He, Kevin, and Hugh decide to go investigate, armed with a glow stick and a growing sense of unease. Em watches them go, a knot forming in her stomach. When they return, their faces are ashen. They found a house identical to theirs, with an identical dinner party in progress. The people inside, however, were not them. Or were they? They recount how they peered through the window, seeing themselves, their counterparts, doing exactly what they had been doing just minutes before. The realization hits them like a physical blow. They have stumbled upon a parallel version of their own reality. The single light in the other house, Hugh explains, was in their living room, just as theirs had been before the outage. The implication is terrifying. The box's numbered photos take on a chilling new significance. Em remembers the story of the broken vase, the one they had just discussed. If their counterparts are truly identical, what would their vase look like? They decide on an experiment. Kevin will go to the other house, armed with a marker to number the photos. He is to enter the other house and retrieve a specific object. The plan is fraught with tension. When Kevin returns, he is visibly shaken, but he has the object. A vase, identical to theirs, but intact. He also holds up a photo, numbered 2, showing himself in the other house, a clear, undeniable image of him standing amidst his doppelgangers. The room falls silent, the weight of the impossible pressing down on them. The photos, the vase, Kevin's story, it all points to one horrifying conclusion. There are multiple versions of them, and they are all, somehow, in close proximity. The discovery of the numbered photos in the box becomes a key to discerning who is original and who isn't. Each person's photo is numbered, and the numbers are distinct to each house. They realize that the rings on their fingers, the personal quirks, the small, seemingly insignificant details, are the only ways to differentiate themselves from their doppelgangers. They start to test each other, holding up their rings, comparing memories. The trust that had once been an unspoken given now fractures under the strain of suspicion. Lori, always a bit dramatic, tries to convince everyone that they are the real ones, the originals. M, however, feels a growing sense of dread. The air is thick with paranoia. Every glance, every gesture, is now scrutinized, analyzed for any telltale sign of difference. The fear of being replaced, of not being oneself, begins to creep into their minds. The situation escalates when they hear a knock at their own door. They freeze, their eyes wide with a mixture of terror and morbid curiosity. Who could it be? Another version of themselves? They huddle together, whispering, trying to decide what to do. Finally, Hugh, ever the leader, slowly opens the door. Standing on their porch are 4 figures, silhouetted against the inky blackness, their faces obscured by the dim light. As they step forward, the group gasps. It's them. Another version of their dinner party, standing on their porch, looking just as bewildered and scared as they are. The mirror image is unsettling, a horrifying reflection of their own predicament. The 2 groups stare at each other, stunned into silence, the air crackling with an unbearable tension. The realization dawns on them. This isn't just one other house. It's multiple, and the lines between realities are blurring at an alarming rate. The new arrivals are as confused and terrified as they are. They too have a box, and their ping-pong paddle is broken, unlike theirs. This detail, seemingly small, becomes a crucial piece of evidence in their desperate attempt to differentiate between the various versions. They try to explain the phenomenon, the comet, the wormhole, but the explanation feels flimsy, inadequate for the sheer strangeness of their reality. M, feeling overwhelmed, retreats slightly, observing the chaotic scene unfold. The 2 groups, identical yet subtly different, try to make sense of their shared predicament. Whiskey is poured, not in celebration, but out of a desperate need to cope. Hugh, trying to assert some control, notices a detail about the whiskey bottle from the new arrivals. It's not the same brand as theirs. Another small, yet significant, divergence. The broken ping-pong paddle from the new arrivals box sparks a new theory. Each house, each reality, seems to have its own unique tell. One has a broken paddle, another a different whiskey brand, yet another a specific numbered photo. The sheer number of possibilities, of different realities existing simultaneously, begins to overwhelm them. The initial fear gives way to a kind of frenzied paranoia. They start to suspect everyone, even themselves. Who is truly from their house? Who has slipped in from another? The lines blur further, trust erodes completely. M watches as the group descends into a terrifying game of spot the difference, each person clinging to their own unique identifier, desperate to prove their originality. The air crackles with accusation and distrust. The once friendly dinner party has transformed into a psychological battleground, with each person fighting for their sense of self. The idea of home has become a fluid, terrifying concept. The tension finally snaps. A heated argument erupts between Kevin and Mike, fueled by fear and paranoia. Mike accuses Kevin of being an imposter, pointing to a subtle difference in his ring. Kevin, enraged, denies it, insisting he's the real one. The fight escalates quickly, voices rising, chairs scraping back. M tries to intervene, to de-escalate the situation, but her words are lost in the escalating chaos. The fear of the unknown, of the multiple realities, has turned them against each other. The once united group fractures, each person retreating into their own terrified thoughts. The accusations fly, each person trying to find a definitive proof, a single undeniable sign that they are the real one. The camaraderie of the evening is completely shattered, replaced by suspicion and hostility. The wormhole, it seems, has not just opened between dimensions, but between their very relationships, tearing them apart. Just as the argument reaches a fever pitch, another knock sounds at the door. Everyone freezes, their faces pale with a mixture of dread and utter exhaustion. They've been through this. They know what it means. Another version of themselves, another set of doppelgangers, has arrived. The sheer relentlessness of the phenomenon is beginning to break them. They exchange weary glances, their earlier resolve replaced by a profound sense of hopelessness. This isn't just a brief anomaly. It's a terrifying, endless loop. The door opens slowly, revealing yet another group, mirroring their own tired faces, their own bewildered expressions. The weight of infinite possibilities, of endless versions of themselves, presses down on them. The realization sinks in. The chaos is just beginning, and there's no escape from the multiplying realities. The air crackles with a terrible understanding. Kevin, the stranger in their midst, clutches his bleeding hand. The wound, identical to the one their Kevin sustained in the initial chaotic confrontation, marks him as another interloper. A chilling realization dawns. The Kevin who vanished was not their original. He was a duplicate, and now this duplicate is bleeding, mirroring the very injury inflicted upon the original Kevin they believed was still among them. The group's faces are etched with a growing horror. This isn't just about objects moving. This is about people being replaced. The lines between their reality and countless others have not just blurred, they've dissolved. They are adrift in a sea of identical selves, each desperate to find their way home, each a potential threat to the others who already occupy their desired reality. The house, once a sanctuary, feels like a trap. Mike, fueled by a terrifying mix of paranoia and self-preservation, takes charge. They need a system, a way to identify who belongs. He proposes a test. Each person must recall a specific, obscure detail from their shared past, something only the original group would know. The tension is palpable. Every glance, every hesitation is scrutinized. The trust they once shared has eroded, replaced by suspicion. Lori, ever the contrarian, dismisses the idea as futile. How can they be sure they're even testing against the right original memory? What if the original group's memory has already been corrupted by a doppelganger? Her words hang heavy, exposing the terrifying circularity of their predicament. They are looking for a needle in a haystack, and the needle keeps changing places. Mike, however, insists they must try. The alternative is madness, an endless spiral of fear and uncertainty. The night has just begun to reveal its true terrors. They decide to use the boxes again, not for finding a way out, but for finding a way back to their own reality. Each box is marked with a unique number, corresponding to a specific reality they've encountered or created. The plan is simple, yet fraught with peril. Venture outside, find their box, and if it leads to a house with their specific, prearranged identifier, a broken teacup, a specific book moved, they might just be home. The air outside is colder now, the comet a malevolent eye in the sky. The sheer number of boxes, each a portal to another version of their lives, is overwhelming. They pick one, a random number, and step into the inky blackness beyond the porch light, a desperate hope clinging to their hearts. The idea of returning to an original reality becomes less about memory and more about a calculated gamble, a roll of the cosmic dice. The first few attempts are disastrous. They emerge into houses that are almost identical, but with subtle, unnerving differences. A painting is askew, a chair is in the wrong place, a familiar laugh track emanates from a TV show that isn't on. Each time, the telltale sign they had agreed upon, a object moved or changed, is missing or incorrect.
Increasingly frantic, traz to rationalize.
Maybe their original reality isn't marked by a specific detail, but by a feeling, an intuitive sense of belonging. But how do you quantify a feeling in a world of endless duplicates? They retreat, disheartened, the weight of their impossible task pressing down. The hope that had briefly flickered now threatens to extinguish. They are like rats in a maze, each turn leading to a slightly different, yet equally alien version of their home. The night drags on, an interminable loop of near misses. Frustration boils over. Mike, his nerves frayed, lashes out. He's convinced one of them is actively sabotaging their efforts, trying to replace an original. He eyes Em, a venomous suspicion in his gaze. She had been the one to suggest a feeling over a concrete marker. Is she trying to mislead them? Em, horrified by the accusation, recoils. The group, fractured by fear, turns on itself. This is the ultimate betrayal. Not just of trust, but of the very idea of shared reality. How can they find their way home when they can't even trust the people standing next to them? The idea of a doppelganger isn't just an external threat. It's now an internal one, capable of wearing the faces of their friends. The atmosphere in the house is thick with hostility, a palpable tension that threatens to erupt into violence. The external threat has become an internal one. Em, observing the escalating paranoia, realizes a new approach is needed. They cannot trust any collective memory, nor can they rely on external markers alone. She decides to create her own unique identifier, something only her original self would know or do. She writes a detailed note, a personal message that only her true self would recognize, and places it in a specific, hidden spot in the house. Her plan is audacious. She will re-enter the chaotic world outside, find a reality where her unique marker exists, and then eliminate the M that already resides there. It's a shocking, brutal strategy, born of desperation and the instinct for self-preservation. She will fight for her existence, even if it means erasing another version of herself. The moral implications are staggering, but in this fractured reality, survival trumps all. Em slips out alone, armed with her note and a renewed resolve. She navigates the unsettling landscape of duplicate houses, each one a slight variation of her own. Finally, she finds a house where her hidden note is precisely where she left it. This is it. This is her reality. She enters, heart pounding, to find another M already there. Her original self, living her life. A brutal, silent struggle ensues. It's a fight for existence. A desperate, visceral battle against the only person who can truly understand her. The original M, surprised, struggles against the interloper. The fight is ugly, messy, a testament to the raw drive to survive. The house, once a symbol of comfort, becomes a battleground, stained by the desperate struggle of two identical women fighting for the right to be unique. The sound of shattered glass echoes in the dark. M, victorious but shaken, disposes of the other M's body, dragging it out into the night and depositing it in an empty, darkened car trunk. She meticulously cleans up the signs of the struggle, her movements precise and practiced, as if she's rehearsed this grim task. She re-enters the house, a chilling calm settling over her. She has won. She has claimed her reality. She settles into the quiet, the echoes of the night's horrors still reverberating in her mind. But even as she sits there, a new unease creeps in. Did she truly eliminate the other M? Or did she become the other M, forever tainted by the act? The line between who she was and who she has become is irrevocably blurred. The silence is deafening, punctuated only by her ragged breathing. She is alone, or is she? The next morning, the others are gone, presumably having found their own realities or succumbed to the chaos. Em walks through the quiet house, a hollow victory in her chest. She picks up her phone, only to notice a faint, almost imperceptible crack on the screen. It's a detail she doesn't remember, a tiny imperfection that sparks a fresh wave of terror. Is this her phone? Is this her reality? Or did she, in her desperation, choose the wrong reality? And now she is the doppelganger, forever haunted by the possibility that she extinguished her own original self. The comet has passed, leaving behind a profound and irreversible scar on their existence. The universe has played its cruelest trick, and Em is left to wonder if she truly won, or if she merely traded one nightmare for another, a perpetual state of doubt. The morning light streams through the window, revealing a world that is both familiar and utterly alien. The true horror isn't the doppelgangers, but the indelible question of identity that remains. What if she is not the original after all? The universe, it seems, always has another twist.